way too early for me to be awake. So hey, Team Fastest Furs is a community of furry speedrunners that is welcoming and open to all. We currently host 2 charity speedrun marathons per year in the spring and fall, and support ongoing community events throughout the year, such as our Fastest Furs Community Showcase series. Whether you're an active speedrunner or just someone who is curious about the hobby or our events, you can join us in our Discord by using the command !Discord in chat. I promise it's nice in there. And for anybody who was trying to donate earlier while we were getting the stream set up for the past 30 minutes or so, the donation system is working now. So you can donate. There's currently an incentive for Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild, the run we are about to do. We are trying to reach $532, which seems like a bit of an odd number for getting the Master Sword, but it will also be the milestone of reaching $100,000 made in the past 4 years for Fastest Furs, so kind of a bit of a big deal. And for everybody who has been donating within the system now fully functioning, thank you very much, Oasis, for the $10 donation. Thank you very much, JD Puppy, for the $10 donation as well. $10 for 10 marathons. Anonymous, whoever thou art, thank you very much for the $10 donation. And Sarf the Snack, I broke the donate page. Sorry, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and getting ready for some awesome runs. Don't worry, it's functioning now. And, hey, I will push us over to our first run of the day, which is going to be ran by JagsyRedPanda, who is going to be doing an all-dungeon run of The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Hi. Well, morning for you, afternoon for me. It's late afternoon here. And welcome to Breath of... Wrong game. Hang on. Welcome to Breath of the Wild. Yes, thank you so much for having me as the first run of the day. For my favourite game of all time. Probably. I haven't run Tears of the Kingdom yet. Yes, so all dungeons for Breath of the Wild. It's a bit of a misnomer, really. It's a bit of a hangover from older Zelda games. So what all dungeons actually mean is I need to clear all 4 divine beasts before I go off against Ganon. We're going to class them as dungeons for the sake of naming conventions. You may notice the run is in Italian. It is significantly quicker in Italian. Although we do miss out the lovely tones of Mr. Chiplock on Rivali. And instead we get a much more annoying voice actor for Uniboro. Is what it is. With me I have Rick, who's been a member of my community for a long time now.
Been too long.
Too long. Too long. Yes, I've been running this game a year and a half now?
Something like that. Many other games before that. Wind Waker, Pikmin, good grief, lots.
Yep, this is my 3rd time running Fastest Fizz now. We'll very quickly skip this cutscene. And I'm going to get controller so we can start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go! First thing I need to do is we're going to do a trick straight away. So I can get out of the Shrine of Resurrection by using something called a scope clip, which I'm going to line up now.
Quella è una tavoletta sceicca.
And it has a couple of very nice effects getting out of the Shrine of Resurrection earlier, other than being fast, which is obviously the first goal. So I'm going to line up and try and do it first, and then I'll try and explain it whilst I'm running over to the Bobo Cam. So I'm going to mash the R3 button to open up the scope, because you get this little cutscene the first time you open it. And I'm going to jump up here, line myself up somewhat carefully, and then mash R3 again, and I get out of the Shrine of Resurrection. So we missed the lovely opening cinematic, but on the plus side, we do get, well, other than out quicker, it stops time and weather from happening, because the cutscene at the opening actually triggers the time for the game starting. So it's forever going to be 5 in the morning So just gonna very quickly run across here. Be careful not to alert these. But we're gonna come and nick their stuff.
We need it more than they do.
Yes. We're gonna keep some of this stuff all the way through the run. So I'm gonna take their weapons. They're not happy about it, apparently. Not really sure why. And I'm gonna take their lunch.
Fine, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, it's fine.
Yeah, they'll recover. Do a little shieldy surf. And then I'm going to do my next trick of the run. So we're, 2 minutes in?
Link,
And we're about to do the second trick.
dirigiti al luogo segnato sulla mappa della tua tavoletta sceicca.
As long as I get it right first time. If I don't get it right first time, then we'll pretend it didn't happen.
No, it's always first try.
Always first try. Every single
Always
time is first try.
Every single time first try.
So this is a shield clip. I think Rick might be able to explain it for me.
So, basically this is shield skew through the window. So by shield surfing against an odd angle ledge, the game stores our angle. So if the shield is unequipped while starting a surf shield, we'll get a weird angle and it'll let us clip into the wall. That's the theory.
Come on, game. There we go, like that.
There we go.
Although I think that bow is going to come back around now. Yeah, he is. So I'm going to grab some arrows. I'm going to just get rid of him, because otherwise he's going to mess up the next bit, which is something called a BLSS. Which I will attempt to get off this little ledge, like that. Essentially, I can stick an item to my hands by doing some weird sequence of events with the bow and shield. And by doing that, I can basically, the pot will push me along in the air, which is very handy.
So the BLSS is the bow lift smuggle slide.
Ah, come on, game. There we go. So that's the bomb shrine clip. So normally you need to have the tower activated to get into the shrines, but I want to get into the bomb shrine quicker than the tower. So I need to do a very odd sequence of events in order to clip in. So I use the skew I got from the window to clip into the inner part of the shrine first. And then from there, I can clip back through the wall with exactly the same skew. It can be pretty precise, it can be very tricky. But the advantage is now, I have bombs before I've done the tower, which is about to become very useful. Because bombs provide probably the most powerful glitch in the game. Arguably, you could say BLSS might be more powerful, but there's a glitch called bomb impact launches, which I'm going to do, and then I'll try and explain afterwards. So with the bomb impact launch, I stack the bombs in midair, and by detonating the first bomb that's further away from me, it sets off the second bomb to go into my back. Oh, really? Just get rid of him.
I suppose the best way to look at it is kind of like a grenade jump.
Yeah, so by using the momentum of the second bomb to push me along, we get a lot of speed and a lot of distance. So already we've seen the BLSS, which lets us travel great amounts of distances fast. And then I get a BIL, which lets me get a lot of height fast. And between those two, we essentially completely break the movement of this game. Because we don't need to do as much running at all. We're literally, anytime I can either do a BLSS to go get around the map quicker, or do BIL to get height quicker, I'm going to do either one of them. So we're going to see, I come out of the bomb shrine now, we get a kind of funny cutscene where the old man's going to try and explain to me that I need to go to the tower, but the tower isn't there. Also, the old man in Italian is so much better than the one in English. He's very jolly. And so the Great Plateau, possibly one of the trickiest parts of the runs, because we need to combine a bunch of the tricks that we've already used and some more coming up. And on top of that, we need to do it without a paraglider, without any way recovering health, really. And we need to do it in around about 20 minutes, really. So I'm going to attempt to do another BI. Luckily enough, bombs are the perfect item for doing BLSS with. You can see this wiggling in action. It's actually me doing it back and forth on the controller. Doing that pushes the bomb, which in turn pushes us along. We can gather enough speed to reach the speed cap of the game. I'm not sure exactly how many units that is, but we can get pretty close to it pretty quickly. So now I'm going to activate the tower because I need to be able to activate shrines in this run. But if you're familiar with this game at all, you know there's a cutscene that happens straight after the tower's activated, basically telling you how to get to a shrine. That cutscene is actually very broken because the old man doesn't show up at all. We have to do it in some categories because it's counted as a main quest. So any category where we do a main quest, we have to do that. But for this category, I don't particularly need that to trigger. So instead, I'm going to try and get away from the tower, which means I'm going to have to do a bomb impact launch at a very specific angle because there's actually an invisible wall all the way around the tower. If there wasn't, we could BLSS off the tower and just drop straight down. But because this is an invisible barrier, we need to get enough speed to get through that barrier. But then we also need to do, we're in a ragdoll state, so we need to cancel that to get down onto the ground. So I'm going to attempt to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to activate VR mode. That actually causes the game to lag, which is very handy for this trick. And then I need to look at these trees and pause the game a lot. And that will let us give the game, looking at trees and in VR mode, will give the game so much lag, the Link comes out of the ragdoll state and goes back into a normal falling state. And because I fell into water, I don't take any fall damage. Means I can just very quickly climb up this cliff and sprint over to this treasure chest by here to pick up a ruby. So you may notice I've picked up a few different materials. I've picked up some mushrooms and some peppers and a ruby. There is a very particular reason I need to do all this, and it'll come up in around about 15 minutes. And it's the first thing I do when I get off the Great Plateau, and it's the most complex glitch in the run. But for now, this shrine is actually pretty vanilla. So if we've got any messages from the host, now would be a fantastic time.
Why, yes, we do. We have a few new donations, one from Parker the Panda for $50. So excited for the runs this weekend. We have another from Rubycott here for $5. Woo, Fastest Furs is back. Nothing like a good donation were to start things off, so here's $5 to say that Cass is the bestest boy. And if you disagree, you know what to do, chat. And we have one more from Rick McLeod. For $32, you're lucky you didn't need to do an update on the game, Jags.
Yeah, so for context, this game has less of an issue of it, but Tears of the Kingdom version 1.0, which is the release version, and then version 1.1, had a lot of major glitches that are used in the speedrun. They updated it to 1.1.2 and then 1.2, and they fixed all of them pretty much. ruining any speedrun on the latest version. They're on. If you have a look at the leaderboard, version 1.2.1 has fixed so many glitches, nobody even speedrun it on that anymore. And it caused me to have to go out of my way and spend £45 on a physical copy in the hope I was going to get version 1.0 so that I can do speedruns, which I did, which is nice, but it means I now own the game twice because I wanted to be able to speedrun it whilst doing all the glitches. But luckily enough, this game, the glitches were found so late on that they couldn't be bothered to fix them, I guess. Now I'm going to do something that looks a bit weird. I'm going to purposely fall over. So going into that ragdoll stake removes any skew we have. And there's a very, very difficult BIL coming up. And I found that for some reason, sometimes it fails if I don't do that. And I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's one of those, like, the same kind of lucky charm thing as wearing my lucky underwear kind of thing. It just seems to work better. But we will try it in a second because I need to get a lot of height now to get up to the stasis shrine. It's all the way up there. So first of all, we're going to do this nice little BIL. And then I'm going to grab some Mela. Sorry, not some apples, some Mela.
Not Wampa fruit.
No. So again, this is collecting a lot of materials that I'm going to need. And I'm going to drop a save by here. Because this trick is very difficult to do.
It's alright, you'll do it first try.
I did not. The game... So, the thing about BILs as well, the bomb impact launchers, is that if the game has any lag at all, it can either help give you speed, or it can kill all the speed completely. So you see all my frames just started to drop, and I just knew the BIL wasn't going to work at all. So we'll try again. Lucky enough, it's very quickly to retry as long as I drop a save by there. I need to wait for my stamina to come back up now. So I need to line up very specifically. Not enough speed. Okay. Yeah, so you need to get a really specific amount of speed for this to get up over the cliff and onto the stasis shrine. And you need to not have lag, and you need to time it right. So it can take a few goes to do.
A big deal in the donations. We've officially reached $100,000 over the 4 years in total.
Fantastic. So yep, third time. That was the first time. The other 2 times were just warm up, obviously. Yeah, this shrine is pretty vanilla again, so we can listen to some donations again.
All right, well, we've got 3 big ones here. We got $50 from Rose Embercrest towards Get the Master Sword. We have a $402 donation towards Get the Master Sword. This will be a busy weekend for me, so I might not get much chance to donate, but I couldn't resist bringing us to exactly $100,000 all time. And we have one more from Shadow Dragon here. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have one more from Shadow Dragon for trans rights are human rights. Love you, Mist. So proud of how far you've come this year with finding your true self. And a $70 donation. We have officially passed by $100,000.
And I'll be getting the Master Sword, sounds like. So the
reached
whistling thing, I should have explained. If I whistle whilst mashing B, I get to keep my sprint speed, but my stamina wheel goes up. It's one of the major glitches they fixed in Tears of the Kingdom, annoyingly. In fact, they double fixed it. They were so angry that people used whistle sprinting in Tears of the Kingdom that they actually drain your stamina faster if you mash B. Which is a little spiteful, I think. But I'll be using that all the way through the run, because the other nice thing about that is we can use whistle sprinting to climb quite steep surfaces, because the game, for some reason, tries to keep Link upright instead of forcing her into a climb animation. And because we've got a very limited amount of stamina, because we're never going to get more, it can be very handy. So now I'm going to attempt to do a stasis launch off this rock. Oh! Just fall down, that's fine. I think I must have caught the cliff very awkwardly there. So yeah, we don't really do a lot of stasis launches anymore. When the game first came out, they were the most important thing that was found. And basically they're used to get... If you look at the original runs from like 2017, they were used pretty much everywhere to get about. And it's basically just giving an item a load of stasis... hit an item with stasis a load of times, and then standing on top of it to launch off. But with the advent of BIL and BLSS, they're not really used that much, except to get like a good amount of height without needing much distance. So I can do this little BLSS. As you can see, I mess about with the camera to try and land there, because I want to be pointing backwards. And I use a little bit of whistle sprinting. I'm going to eat my lunch whilst I'm up here. Excellent time for it. So this shrine is not the most difficult to get to, because I say stasis is the most difficult to get to, but it's the quickest shrine we do, thanks to using BIL. So first of all, I need to swap to that. And I think it's pretty widely known that this is the worst shrine in the game. It's not very useful. I think we use it twice through the entire run. And that, even then, 2 or 3 times, and it's only in the Divine Beast that was basically designed for you to use it. Otherwise, bombs the most useful by far, and then sometimes stasis. So I'm going to swap straight to bombs by here. Line up. Wrong bomb. Right, I'll say that again. Line up. And we get all the way on the top of here, and the shrine is right behind me. So that's all 4 shrines done. And that's the only 4 we do through the entire run. And now I need to get over to the Temple of Time. So a trick I did earlier, but wasn't too difficult, and it can be very difficult to do, is doing a full damage cancel. Is probably, again, one of the first glitches that was found in this game. And basically, by unequipping an item halfway through the throwing animation, it like resets Link's height, and it could cause you to take no full damage, but it can be a little difficult to... I tend to find I do it too quickly nowadays, and that actually is just as bad as doing it too slowly.
Our friend the old man again.
Yep, the second to last time.
He remembers when these are all just fields. Oh, wait.
Well, I think we proved in Tears of the Kingdom the Great Plateau's always been there. To a degree. So the thing about BLSS is because we need a step up for it, it can be really awkward. It's the most versatile glitch in terms of you could do it nearly anywhere. But BILs you could do off any surface, essentially, with a little bit of height to it. Whereas BLSS you need something you can specifically step up from. It was a little far back, but I didn't die to the full damage cancel, which is always a bit of a bonus. So that's the Great Plateau done in, I'm going to guess, about 20 minutes. I don't know. I think my best time is 18 minutes, 33 seconds. Which I don't think I got today, I'll be fair, but... That's one of the most difficult points of the run. Probably the biggest reset point as well. I think I've got 52 attempts at this game, and I think something like 20 of them have died to the plateau, so... It's by far the biggest reset point. So, this is all dungeons. I need to do all 4 dungeons and then go to Ganon. Where do you think the first place I'm going to go is?
His castle?
Exactly, I'm going to go straight to Hyrule Castle. But I'm only going to pay it a quick visit. So I need to
Ding dong
go...
ditch, basically.
Yeah, I'm just going to go past, see what Ganon's up to, be like, oh, I don't like this much yet, and then I'm going to leave again.
Sup, homie.
Yeah, just, how's it going? And then leave straight away. So, exhibiting the power of BLSS here, I do need to be careful not to speed cap. To just cross enormous amounts of distances, A, very quickly, and B, very simply, because as long as there's no terrain in the way, I could just get straight across. Although, the only problem is I have to hold the B button constantly. If the control stick goes to neutral, and I need to cross neutral to do this wiggle, or if I let go of B, I just drop out of BLSS. So you can see, getting here so quickly can cause the game to not really load very well. So I'm very quickly gonna do this. So I need to wait for this to load quickly. And it's because I need this chest, because I need these 3 ancient arrows. And then the cutscene's gonna play. The cutscene's always gonna play. Rather it play now than when I'm trying to set up the escape. So I have my ancient arrows. I have a nicer bow. I'm gonna get out of here.
Laters.
Yep. So I'm gonna do 2 BILs now to gain some height to get to a high point, because I need to be very high to get over to the next area, which is going to be the Rito village. He did not like that. It's actually quite impressive, because you think normally the game runs so well that it's seamless loading. The fact that I'm going so quick and all you get is a few loading pauses is very impressive, I think. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right. So, Rito Village is somewhere over there, because I can see Varmeadow hanging about. But I'm not going to go there yet either. So I've done one stop off on the way to Rito Village. I've done a drive past of Hyrule Castle. I'm actually going to go somewhere else first. I'm going to go to a Great Fairy Fountain. Because all these materials I've been picking up, I need a few more before I can start the run off properly. Unfortunately, I need to use BLSS and I need to maneuver around some objects in the world, like that rock, and then I need to turn straight after it, essentially. My sat-nav's on. It's told me to take this exit, so I need to wiggle my way around. So I need to get... I have 3 apples now. I have 4 mushrooms and spicy peppers. I need at least 1 fairy. I need 8 of these, and I'm going to grab 1 more thing, which is the Endura carrot here. But this is only for safety, because I need some more health, basically. And if I accidentally use my fairy up, it would be a disaster. So I'm going to eat that. And I'm done. So I need to do this. So a combination of BIL and BLSS, so the bomb impact launch and the bowlift smuggle slide. I can use it to, if I want a BLSS from a high point, I can use BILs to find a nice high point, like this, and then use a BLSS and wiggle my way around this mountain. And you do see this a few times where I will go and purposely find a higher point to get a better BLSS angle. Very popularly, there's one point where we cross the entire map with a single BLSS, and we find like basically the top of a mountain to do it. So now we're at 25-ish minutes, whatever it is, and we're finally in Rito Village. It's loading very slowly. Although I don't need the soup ladle like normal because I got the weapon off the Bobo earlier. So I need very specific inventory. I need 3 weapons, 1 bow, 1 shield, 4 what we're going to call scrap items, a fairy, and a power-up meal. If you don't go to Kakariko Village, Link, you get a conversation with Zelda basically telling you the Divine Beasts have been taken over.
Devi trovare il modo di entrare al suo interno e liberarlo dal malefico rancore di Ganon. Link.
We've got a little bit of time for any messages from the host before I start off the next trick.
Oh, well, we have some new incentives that are currently available, if anybody be so inclined to donate towards them. We have a bonus game, Viewfinder, if it reaches its target goal of 750. We have a co-op run for Pump It Up Phoenix at its goal of 200. A attempt of Dragon Skip for Kingsley's Adventure at 200, and currently active as well, Spirit of the North Fox Color Bid War, if anybody wants to donate towards that.
We're just going to get some memories about... I would take issue with people saying Cass is the best bird because I have a special place in my heart for Rivali. I like those bad boys too much, truly. But I'm going to skip his cutscene because watching cutscenes is slow. Shall I get the soup ladle? I don't need it. So first of all, I'm going to cook a meal. And that'll give me some power-ups. But it's only 1 power-up, so, you know, how useful is it going to be for the run? So I'm about to do a trick called IST, and it's so complex that I'm going to have to shut up and concentrate on it.
So this is where I come in to explain. So there's another one for your glossary. IST stands for Inventory Slot Transfer, or Infinite Stuff Trick. So the game has 2 menus, one where you load it and one in the background. So Jags will start the trick at the start of the game by collecting specific materials. So he's got 3 mushrooms, 3 spicy peppers, and picking up specific weapons. So his inventory needs to be exactly 3 weapons, so a bow, a shield, and a mix of 3 materials, and 1 meal. So Jags will then smuggle some items into his hand using a sticky hand trick, and then he's going to sell them, causing the inventories to go out of sync. So this will then break breaks 4 inventory slots. He's going to do this twice, and then reload, causing the inventories to reload over each other. Hope you're following. After this, he's then going to fire an arrow and save and close the game, causing the inventory to reload completely. And then at the end of this really confusing trick, and trust me, I'm having trouble trying to follow this, Jags will then fix the slots, but the values of some of the items have transferred over. So the value of the Iron Hammer durability has transferred over to his Ancient Arrow count. So it'll then become something like 3900. And the bow durability will transfer to the fairy count, so it'll cause it to hit 999. So you're basically getting sort of infinite ammo and infinite health.
If I could get the first pit working. So I need to talk to this Rito woman. Like that. Oh, I did it too slow. Okay, ignore me. So basically I need to talk to the Rito woman whilst putting away a weapon at the same time. And it'll cause me to be able to sell the items. Oh, no, I did it right. Oh, come on, game.
It's alright. You know what IST looks like as well as the anagram. Looks like for first try.
That sounds quick enough. Yeah, there we go. So you can see that I've got like the 0 ruby there, which doesn't seem right at all, does it? Because normally you can't have a 0 showing. So that's the first one done. I've just got to do another one now. Definitely one of the most complex tricks to do. I think that's it. There we go. Okay. Try not to do this too fast, because if I mess it up, it's going to be a while to set it back up again. So I need that equipped. Drop and equip. Equip. Save the game. And drop. Drop. Use. Eat. Go over here. Drop. 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 And then reload. I've done it so many times that actually trying to think about what I'm doing is actually more complex than just doing it on autopilot.
That's where Tears of the Kingdom suddenly opens up.
Oh god. So I get this little prompt up, which means I've done something right. I won't do it, don't worry. I've done the joke once, I'm not going to do it again. So we should now see if I've done it right. The other thing about that trick, and we use it in all dungeons, for all main quests for this, is it actually affects the number of... If you sort the main item menu, it'll let you carry over your duplication count to your spirit orbs, and you get over 100, so you can use it to get the Master Sword naturally without having to break the game. So we should see 9,800 arrows, a thing, and a stack of meals. Good. Okay. That's probably the most stressful bit of this run. So getting it right first time, albeit with a little bit messed about with the Rita woman, is a problem. It's good. So now I just sell a bunch of fairies because I need to buy the Gerudo armor to get into Gerudo City. I need to buy 30 of the shock arrows. So I'm going to sell about 500 fairies, but I'm still going to have 400 left. And because I've got 400 fairies, I will never die again in this run. Aw, don't roll away from me. There we go. Right. So now I need to get my way over to start the Val Meadow quest. So because I have so many fairies, I don't need to get any cold protection now, because it's just going to constantly regenerate me every time I go to 0 health. Oop. That's what happens when you go neutral. You just lose all your speed. So doing it here is not a problem. Doing it halfway towards Goron City will be annoying. So the Rito quest isn't very long. I just need to shoot 5 arrows, and then I need to go up to Val Meadow and destroy the cannons. So I'll try and just do this as quick as possible. Perfecto.
First try.
First try. That was first try. So first of all, I can open this chest and get the Falcon Bow. The Falcon Bow is significantly has much better range than the Royal Bow, which I have now. Which is great. For this Divine Beast, there's some specific visual cues I can use to one-shot the cannons. It's good. Up to IST is probably the most time lost part of the run out. Everything past this is all pretty simple.
Touch wood.
Yeah. Touching a lot of wood. There should be one. Perfect. Oh, I had too much height. He tells you off if you go too high. I'll just do this the sad fly of shame into the center instead of. So that's a mid-air BIL. They're significantly more complex than off-ledge ones because you have to time it differently. That one, you have to wait 4 seconds between the 2 bomb drops. Well, I count to 4 in between the 2. Not exactly 4 seconds, but I count to 4 between the 2 to try and time it. Otherwise, you have to do the sad fly of shame into the center. I think that first one missed. Okay, that one worked. There's always one I miss. There we go. So the ancient arrows take those out in one shot. So from the middle, I can use my quiver to line up the shot to the cannons. But if you're slightly off, it can cause your aim to go off slightly, which normally means I normally miss one cannon or the other. So into Varmeadow. Varmeadow, not very long. It's about a 5-minute dungeon, I would say. Of all the dungeons in this game, I think the longest one for me is 7 minutes. So the actual getting to the dungeons is significantly longer than actually completing any of the dungeons in this game. Here's no Sean Chiplock, is it? So every time you enter a dungeon, the pilot of it tells you where to get the dungeon map. This is the only dungeon where we don't need it. So the way the dungeon map works is it lets you control the Divine Beast. But for this particular dungeon, we don't actually... Ready, game? Thank you. We don't actually need it. We can get around without the needing to tilt the dungeon at all. Partially because we can just use BLSS to get about. See, again, I have so much health that standing in the Malice, not a problem. And then pass, thank you. Because I am at no risk of dying. Well, unless I was very, very unlucky and lost a lot of health very quickly, but, you know. I think I normally end the game on a very bad streak with 300 fairies left, so you'd have to do a lot wrong to lose all of them. See, stuff like that one, I just fly around to it. Normally you would have to tilt the Divine Beast to get down to it. I'm not going to bother, and then I'm going to jump off. I no longer want to be on the Divine Beast, but it doesn't let me escape. But jumping off there puts me back up here, which is good because I'm going to attempt to use a BIL to get over the head of the Divine Beast now. as I found out earlier practicing this. Okay, I must have been slightly overland. So you need a specific height to trigger the game to go into the bullet time. Can't think of the word then. There we go. And I probably just was too far over to trigger it. So I can use that BIL to go over to here. Just shoot that guy. As yeah, I lose health very quickly stood in that, but I can just sprint around it. And you're supposed to, I presume you're supposed to do a puzzle for that, but it's been so long. And every time I've even casually played this game, I've done it that way that I don't even remember how you're supposed to do it properly anymore. Again, you're supposed to tilt the Divine Beast. But you can just use stasis to smack it against the switch. And that's all 5 done without moving the Divine Beast at all. So now I have to go fight the Wind Blight. Use my attack up. I think in recent memory, only once I've got a crit on that meal. And it gave me a 9-minute one instead of a 4-minute one. But 4 minutes is more than enough to deal with any of the Divine Beast bosses. And I'm so confident I'm not even going to move. Are we close there? I didn't get a nice shot off. So this boss is actually a lot easier to just stay in one place and just shoot him as he moves rather than try and follow him or use the upstreams to go into bullet time. Why would you move? If you do it again, I'm going to be very unhappy. There we go. Oh, he just was like, oh, you're going to shoot me, I'll just move. I don't need the heart container. Because I'm at no risk of dying. I'm just going to mash through the cutscene.
I mean, who plays a video game for story?
Exactly. Well, I don't think anyone plays Breath of the Wild for the story, to be honest. I went to split then. I don't have my life split open. I'd probably be very sad if I did. So I'm going to run up and grab the Great Eagle Bow. Because it's a very good bow. And he tells you off for not having the Spada, the Master Sword. I will get it. It's just, you know, much later on. So I'm going back to the Great Plateau. You could, in theory, do a BLS all the way over from here to the Gerudo City. But the time lost loading the shrine in and then setting up from here is actually significantly... It's still quicker than trying to do the BLSS all the way from Rito Village. I think in the highest levels of this run, they never activate the towers, so they do have to do the BLSS all the way over. But because I'm a wuss and I do the safer route, I can just grab the tower here. So when setting up a BLSS there, the thing I look for when I jump in the air and I pause at the same time, and I look for the bomb to like go down so it looks like Lynx wants to put it away, And that's how I get it stuck to Link's hand, because I interrupt. Basically, going to the menu and interrupting Link doing an action causes the game to get very confused. And think Link's done the action, but the object hasn't been put away. I'm going to do a little wiggle all the way over to here. This is one of those annoying things where it would be significantly quicker if you didn't have to trigger the side quest here first. You could just go straight to Karakara Bazaar and then just come over with the clothing. But you do actually have to go here, and you can see the game's struggling to load stuff in. I need to talk to the dude who's spying on the city in order to spawn the person who sells me the reader clothing. I didn't think it triggered for a second there. So very luckily, wow, that was not a lot of speed. The pedestals of shrines give us a really good jumping off point. In fact, if you look up tutorials on how to do the forward jump BILs, it always recommends starting with the shrine pedestals because they're really easy to go from. I probably shouldn't have whistled there. They're all just looking at me now. So I use 2 BILs to get over rather than run all the way across the desert. And I want to land all the way on the top of this to trigger everyone's favourite little part of the game where we dress Link up very pretty.
Link do have the swag in this scene.
I was kind of sad they took the outfit out of Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not really sure why they did. Even the little reason they were like, oh, Link's just allowed in the city now. And you're like, that's not what they said last time.
Plot convenience.
Although, in Tears of the Kingdom, funnily enough, you're allowed to walk into Gerudo City if you're wearing any outfit, but you're not allowed to go in topless.
Huh.
The guards still kick you out if you're topless, which means the all dungeons route for Tears of the Kingdom focuses on you have to go get clothing set to cover your midriff. Otherwise, you're not allowed into the Gerudo City to trigger that quest. Another thing to note about BLSS, there's so many things to note about BLSS, is square bombs are much more convenient because they won't roll away from you, but for some reason they are much slower. Come on. No. That was dignified.
You got lucky there. Besides, round bombs are more aerodynamic, that's why they're quicker.
I don't know what the reason is. I would love to know what the reason is. But yeah, we use square bombs in some places because we don't actually want that much speed. Whereas circle bombs, obviously, for longer distances, much better. For this one, though, you actually want less speed because you actually need to let the Riju load in properly. If Riju doesn't load in properly, I actually can soft lock the game. So I can do this and just flick the menu back and forth a bit. There we go. Until she loads in. For some reason, opening and closing the quick menus like that does cause the game to load quicker. Not sure why. Again, this is just a lot of text, so if we have any messages from the host, that was a great time before I mess about with the Yiga. Doing in Italian somewhat loses some of the potency of what they're saying. So if you're familiar with the Yiga quest, as I imagine a lot of people are, what you're supposed to do is they tell you to go over to the Yiga clan. You have to sneak through the Yiga clan's building to reach the battlefield with Koga. I'm not going to do it that way. Because you can actually use a shield clip to clip into the back room, or the final room of the Yiga hideout, and then just walk back around. But it does mean, unfortunately, I need to get there, and you have to get to a very high point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to BLSS over to a part of the mountain, and then use a sequence of bomb launches to climb the mountain. And that way I should be able to get straight over to the Yiga hideout with very little mess. Unfortunately, it does take a little bit of time. There is another method where there's a very old glitch. It was, I think, probably one of the first glitches that was found that was like a proper movement glitch for this game, called the bullet time bounce. Where, for some reason, if you hit an object in bullet time, it still calculates your speed as if you're in full time, and then duplicates it when you come back into full time, so you could shield jump on top of an enemy and then get a lot of momentum and height. So it's still somewhat useful for some areas, but I tend to find it very inconsistent for myself, so I just rely on using BILs to get about. Don't fall down. Don't fall down. Thanks, Kim. You'd be right at the edge of the cliff to trigger it. So yeah, there's not particularly a lot happening, but unfortunately that's part of the open worldness where you just do this, and this, and that. It takes a surprising amount of practice to get so used to like the actions of it. It's very difficult to actually explain it.
Do you think we're good at the moment? If our host is back with us, if we can have a some more donations, Jags?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Well, we have a donation here from JD Puppy for $5 for getting the bonus game unlocked. Can we start our first $5 donation train nice and early in the marathon?
Yeah, so I'm just flat out robbing those guys. Getting away with murder. There's an unfortunate property here that actually loses a lot of other time in the run for various reasons. Where the bit of environment I need to clip through doesn't load in properly. For reasons that are very uncertain. I don't think anyone actually knows why. There's a decompilation project going on at the moment, and hopefully they'll be able to understand why the terrain doesn't quite load in properly, but prevents you from doing a shield clip through the wall. So I have to save and reload the area. I don't think I got it properly. Hang on. Also, shield surfing in a very small place like that can actually be really difficult. It's like a very tight sequence of button presses in like very quick succession, but it allows us to just clip through like that and just get straight through into the Koga fight. The Koga fight is actually possibly one of the more difficult points of the run. Only because he has a very specific amount of health and a specific amount of phases, and you can't just eat an attack up meal and just wail on him. You can one cycle him in some phases, but you need to do a very exact amount of damage. And it's only really consistent in the first phase. They're always doing it in the second phase, but it also risks wearing down the durability on your Great Eagle Bow. And I've tend to find if I go for it here, my Great Eagle Bow breaks when I'm fighting Ganon, which causes other issues. So this guy's very mad.
He's probably my personal favourite part of this game.
I liked him in Ages of Calamity, where he actually joins your side. My god, Ages of Calamity was a difficult game. I don't want that, thank you. I didn't get it, never mind. You see, it's not really a lot of damage, it's just the way the game like tries to prevent you from able to one-cycle him, you need to do a really exact amount. And I'm not really sure where the boundary is. I suspect, like, if the 3 shots I fire, if one of them misses, that might be enough. So instead I'm going to use, like, items I don't care about their durability as much, just to, because you can only really do a set amount of health to him anyway. You went really far then. I mean, I've never seen him fly that far before. It's a very pain in the butt fight. It's the longest in the game by far, even at the highest level. And we have a lot of text here.
We have a few new donations, if it's alright to read them out now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, we have a $5 donation from Windbliss. Happy Fall Fest fam, here's to some fantastic runs this marathon. Cat Dragon says trans rights. Thank you very much. We have another one from Oasis for $5. I am a simple dog, I hear donation train. I partake in donation train. Thank you very much as well, Oasis. And we have another for $7 from Ian Keith. And whoops, it's not $5, but it's a nice donation. Get me on the train anyways. And thank you very much as well. That's another $13 towards the donation game. 17, I can read.
Trans rights? Damn right.
You know, my friend Midori's gonna be so mad I'm hanging out with another hyena. So now we need to go back over to the Gerudo City. Previously, in the old route, we would pick up a load of the mighty bananas here to make the power-up meals. But because it looked like I only made 1 meal, but when I did the IST, I actually duplicated and made 9 of them. But they all show up as a stack, because the game doesn't actually know how to calculate that you've got 9 of a meal, because they don't stack normally. So, you know, casual breaking the game. It's a very powerful glitch. In 100%, you actually spend about the first hour of the run setting up the IST, because it's very complex in that, and you need to get, like... You make a load of different meals, and you make all your fairies, and you make some of the materials you need to upgrade armor. And it's like a very long, convoluted sequence over the space of an hour that if you mess up at any point, you have to restart the entire thing. And it involves like making really specific saves at specific times as well. So I'm glad I don't run 100%, because that sounds stressful. Just gonna remember about Urbosa, Zelda's other mother. There's a lot of fanfic about Urbosa being a mother figure to Zelda. A lot of it. It's also heavily indicated that when Zelda was when it was in the 100 years ago time, Link once again had to dress up as a Gerudo woman to get into Gerudo City. I think it's like in Zelda's diary or something. So here again, I use a square bomb because the wind there will push away a circle bomb way too quickly. We don't actually need that much speed for this, so I am going to do that. So doing that will get rid of the skew that I had from getting into the Yiga clan, and it actually took me an embarrassingly long time to realize, because what was happening is I would go into Varnaboris, I would mess up my first BIL, and I couldn't understand why. But if you have shield skew, you can't do a BIL. And it took me a very long time to realize why my first BIL wasn't working. It was because I always had skew from doing the Yiga clan. And this bit, when I first started running this game, which was pre-IST discovery, this was always the part that used to kill runs for me, because I always used to die to entering Varnaboris. Because one shock and you would just get insta-gibbed. I used to find it seely difficult, and now I find it seely easy with fairies. I'm not sorry for that one. The seal puns are way too good in this game.
I'm looking at you disapprovingly through the microphone right now.
So sad the seal one is let's seal the deal line. So good.
Stop, it hurts.
Is it silly okay if I read off a few more donations?
Hey!
So, we have another $5 from Fiendly. On that $5 train, next stop, Viewfinder. Thank you very much. And we have another $5 from Radicoon towards the Fox Color Bid War. Orange the only Fox Color. Thank you very much. Also, if you donate anything, I will say whatever you want me to say. Within reason.
I was going to say within reason.
Right, let's try a snipe.
Ah, it's the 8080 Walker.
Ah, the first one was just off. Oh. Please? There we go. That was seely slow, because I missed the shot. I was hoping it was going to be seely fast or seely slow. It was a bit seely slow, but it could have been seely fast. Yeah, if the first shot was slightly off, because you have to aim to try and hit the back foot just after it lands. And this is what used to be the most difficult dungeon for me. I think it probably still is. I know, Var Ruta is more difficult than this one now, because the dungeon boss used to be a real agony in this one. Still can be if you get very unlucky. But this used to be the point where all my runs would die. The first ever run of this game I did was 6 hours long when I did all dungeons, and I lost like 30 minutes to messing up the boss of this dungeon constantly.
That was a fun one. I think I remember that one.
It's my friend Taylor's favourite run I've ever done, because I just ran into lava by accident. I wasn't paying attention, I just straight up ran into lava, and I was like, oh, what am I supposed to do here? First off, we need to do some running. I'm going to use a jump to get up, just up by there. It is something of a habit. I think every other dungeon I do, I will do one of the terminals before I get the dungeon map. I think this dungeon you can actually do all but one without the dungeon map, but I tend to find that route is a little bit awkward. Don't forget to hydrate.
Hey, did you know you can use exclamation mark prizes to see all the things we are giving away for the marathon? Anyone who donates over $50 or more will be eligible to win a Nintendo Switch OLED and a copy of Tears of the Kingdom. Just saying.
And it is potentially my new favorite Zelda game, so I would recommend that.
Also, another congratulations to Fastest Furs for donating over $100,000 to charity. Let's make it 200,000.
I'm sure we'll get there. So again, using the lovely power of BLSS to just get to the top by here means I don't have to mess about with activating the camel. This split I always call it Gobi, because I think of my first ever Fastest Furs run actually was Banjo-Kazooie. Those guys don't even have time to get up. The most boring part of the Divine Beast is spinning this wheel. I'll just pick my bass up and start playing it whilst I'm waiting for this.
You spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby. Better stop. Might get copyright infringement.
I always think of it's more a thing in Majora's Mask of the people who play a musical instrument and during the cutscenes in Majora's Mask just play Zelda songs. And I really want to do that and just pick up the bass and play like serious song on the bass whilst I'm waiting for the final cutscene in Majora's Mask.
Yeah, that would work pretty well, actually.
I do have an ocarina that's styled like the ocarina from Ocarina of Time.
I remember that.
And I bought it, and I was like, this is amazing, I have an ocarina. You know, I could play all the songs from the Zelda games. I tried to play it once. I was chronically bad at it, and it sounded embarrassing, and I haven't picked it up again since. I can't do this. So the main reason this dungeon is not great is that one bit where you have to spin the wheel, and this one where you get trapped in this cage and you just have to wait for it to go round all the way back to where you were, because there's only one escape and it's here. There's a way of shield clipping out, but it's so awkward to do. So here's one of the coolest dungeon bosses, very difficult, and can be very luck dependent. Nothing gives me more satisfying than hitting him in his dumb, stupid little face. I've died so often to him in runs before IST gave me infinite fairies.
The
So
amount
many
of
runs.
times, yeah.
So
This
many
one
times.
caused pain.
Se non stai attento a quei furbi, farai anche tu la mia
He's in a
stessa
really
fine.
awkward place as well. He nearly did it again then. So when you hit him out of the air with that, with the electric pole, if he lands in a bad place, there is nothing you can do. Because what you want to do is you want to jump off a ledge, go into bullet time, and just hit him with arrows till he dies. If he lands on a ledge above you, or in a really awkward point on the ledge, or there where he landed behind a pillar, he'll just come at you. He doesn't go into the extra thing again, so you have to go for the backup, which is wait for him to come at you, perfect parry dodge him, and then hit him in the face with arrows. That's the only option you have. And you can do it, it's possible, it just adds so much more time on. So much more difficult than just hitting him with an arrow in the air, and you can still lose a run there easily. Run I had last weekend, lost 2 minutes there to me having to mess about with him again. But it went fine, it was perfect. It was ideal. Very close to not being ideal. I think if I'd missed one of those shots, he would have got up and come after me in a very upset manner. But now we have the longest BLSS in the run. So I'm in the bottom left part of the map, casually, as one does. Need to actually swap my bow a second. And I need to get all the way over to there. So I'm going to do a BLSS, and I'm just going to point myself that way. And then I'm going to ask if the host has any messages whilst we watch Link wiggle his butt over to Goron City.
Hey, I have a few more donations to read if we have the time.
Yes, you have loads of time.
I had a small feeling. So, we have another $5 from Corgi Ba. And Choo Choo, here's my ticket to the donation train. Trans rights are human rights, and I love hearing that rich space scene host voice. Thank you very much, Corgi Ba. We have a $16 donation from Radicoon. Thank you very much. And we have a $50 donation from Anonymouse. $50 on orange in the Fox Color Bid War.
That's it. When I used to be a fox, my fox was orange. So, well, orange and red, so I can be biased. Of course, red pandas are way better now.
You were basically a traffic cone. You were
I
so
was.
bright orange and white, you were the same colours as a traffic cone.
But now I'm the much superior red panda species.
I don't know about that.
I'd say it's up for debate, but I wouldn't want you to lose a debate. It'd be embarrassing.
Wow, rude.
I'll let chat argue that one. I must remind you, red pandas eat food that is significantly bad for them and sleep all day. They're basically teenagers. So here, I'm in Goron City, and it is very slow to load. In fact, it's so slow to load that I need to force it to load, because I need to be able to go from here. Oh. That was hilariously bad.
As long as you didn't walk into the lava like last time.
Alright, alright. So yeah, Goron City. We're only going to do a passing visit here. Before we head off to the Zoras. Oh, I'm going to need to walk over now, which is the walk of shame. You can see Link is kind of on fire. I mean, his outfit isn't particularly well suited to a volcano, I'll be fair. It's a bit skimpy, I think. But it doesn't really matter, because no matter how on fire I am, my fairies will just keep reviving me, which saves me from having to buy any sort of flame-resistant armor. Couldn't think of the word then. The only other problem with this area is all the lava actually causes the game to lag. Quite like that. So doing BILs here can actually be quite difficult. Because you need to try and like not look at any lava because it causes the game to lag so badly. And Link being on fire causes it to lag as well. Oh, I nearly... Do you know if I fell in the lava then? I do not, I would have cried, I think. That's gonna work it. Why though? I'll try from here instead. No, it didn't work, did it? It was a good idea till it wasn't. I'll just head up, because there's definitely points where the game just starts lagging, and it just destroys any chance of being able to do the bomb jumps. Bear with me. Oh, what? Okay, that's funny. In a sort of ha ha. I've never had this bad luck with BILs though. You know, whole like that's never happened before thing. I'm feeling it right now.
It's the beauty of streaming these things. when you got people watching, that's when all the crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, when it's 5 people in my stream normally, everything's perfect. When it's 100 or so people watching,
that's fine. It's fine.
Luckily, I never get annoyed playing this game.
Never.
Never, ever, ever.
That's
actually really low.
Hey,
Oh,
fire's pretty hot. You know what also warms you up? We have some shirts over on timberwolftrading.ca, and $5 from each shirt purchase will be donated to Trans Lifeline. There's some special shirts for the 2023 Fall Fest Marathon if you're interested.
And I'm very tempted to pick up the one with the little cake on it. It was very cute.
Oh, it's so cute.
Don't leave me! No.
Oh, that's gone.
Why does everything I blow up leave me? Also, I have a suspicion that if the Switch is running too long and starts to, warm up as the Switch will do, it actually causes BILs to be less consistent. It's just a theory I have, but it always seems the longer I do runs for, the less consistent they get. Whereas, like, for the first run of the day, they tend to be okay.
Yeah, maybe there's something about it collecting data or some trash data in the background or something like that, but that's for people far cleverer than I to find out.
Well, the game itself has a way of getting rid of trash data, and it's the blood moon. If you see a blood moon, the game does it occasionally. But the game will sometimes, if it's like got too much crap data in it, it will just force a blood moon to happen.
But because you've got it set at 5 AM constantly, that'll never happen.
Nope, it definitely does.
Oh, okay.
If you, I tell you where it happens a lot. It happened to me, and I actually had to go and ask about it. Is when I was doing all main quests, I was just moving from one place to another, and I think it was like around the peak down the south, and it just triggered a blood moon. I was like, it's 5 AM, how could a blood moon happen? And then when I asked, apparently it's if the game has too much data on the heap to clear off, it'll just trigger a blood moon. And you can force it to have a blood moon. You could do the same Tears of the Kingdom, which has the same method. You can overload the game's memory, and it just forces a blood moon to just clear off the heap.
That's really clever. I like that.
It is, and it means, unless you're very clever about it, I don't know if there's a way of actually getting a stack overflow, because the heap just gets cleared up by the blood moon, which is a very nerdy thing to say. I mean, I know I'm a programmer, but that was pretty nerdy. Right.
We have
Watching
another
those-
donation, if it's alright for me to read up. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a $10 donation from Prism Lizard. Prince Sidon is the most wholesome himbo in Breath of the Wild and better than any Dorito, and you cannot change my mind.
I wouldn't
Thank you
say
very
Rabadi's
much.
very wholesome, I'll be fair.
Oh, totally wholesome. What do you mean?
Wow, that was not a lot of height. See, I'm just using whistle sprinting there to climb up this little mountain, because that... I mean, the BIL worked, which was nice. It's just, didn't take me very far. So I'm actually going to activate this shrine by here. Because I'm actually going to leave. I'm not going to trigger the final part of this quest. I'm actually going to leave and come back later. Because whether I'm doing the Master Sword or whether you're just finishing the runner, it's way quicker to go from Goron City to the end of the game by a good amount. Fairly good point to drop a bomb without it rolling away from me. By here would be fine. Just need to wait for it again. But it's way quicker to get the height here to go over to the Zoras. If one of those hits me out of the air, I'm gonna think bad words, but not say bad words. So yeah, because I get so much height from where I am, I can just drop straight into where the Zora are without having to wiggle around the mountains. And I want to go from the Goron City to the end of the game, which in this case will be going to the Lost Woods to get the Master Sword. I haven't actually speed capped once yet, which is nice. If you hit the speed cap, the game just kills all your speed. You see, I might do it eventually at some point where I'll be zipping along like that, and then I'll just stop moving. And if you like Sidon, you're in for a treat, because we're going to spend 5 minutes listening to him talk, because there's no way of skipping these cutscenes. You see, I'm, coming up to the final dungeon in the game, and I'm still carrying around the stuff that the Bobos gave me an hour and a half ago or so.
See, we needed it more than they did.
Exactly. Very useful. And this is 4 minutes of text, I want to say. This is supposed to be the first day you come to, so it's supposed to be like setting up we all remember you, and this is a story in X, Y, and Z, but because we come to it so late, we don't actually care that much.
4 minutes is, a lot of time. It's also enough time to donate without missing anything. And if you donate $50 or more, you'll be in the running to win a Nintendo Switch OLED and a copy of Tears of the Kingdom.
Even I could probably donate right now, just mashing A and B.
Oh, yeah, plenty of time. We'll wait.
My phone's all the way over there, and I'm all the way over here.
Excuses. Just checking out the shirts as well for the Fasted Furs. I do like the Chaos Emerald design. That's nice.
I'm such a big fan of the one with the cake on. I really like it.
Kind of really want the logo, honestly. Kind of want to wear it to FWA.
Represent.
Absolute.
I could get it now. Buy it now. Well, I was about to say I could get it in time for MFF, but shipping over to the UK might be difficult. I could get someone in the US to get it for me.
Mm.
Big brain think going on right there.
Ah? I'm just going to get changed into the Zora outfit, and this is my final outfit for the game. Half the Gerudo Vi outfit, and then 1/3 the Zora outfit. So this bit, if you need context, what these two lovely fish people are talking about is Mipha was going to marry Link. Very clearly, it's the most explicit Link has been in a relationship ever, where what he's wearing now was supposed to be the engagement ring of the Zora, but instead of a ring, it's, an entire bit of armor. And then they're like, oh, you need to go get shock arrows to calm Varuta. But I went and bought those shock arrows, and it's one of the reasons why the routing of this game is such the specific way it is. Because we want to go to Varmello first, because we need Rivali's Gale for the other dungeons. And we want to go to the Gerudo second, because we want the shock arrows for Varuta. I have seen the idea of doing the Goron second and then going over to the Zora last, but it makes no sense to do it any way other than doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, where you go back and end on Goron City, but you do Gerudo City second because we have the shock arrows ready to go. We just need to go deal with it. And this is the only place in the game where it rains, which is really annoying because rain, much like lava, is another way of adding lag to the game, which causes BILs to just not work properly. So now I need to BIL over to Varuta. We could have another circumstance where the game lags too hard for me to be able to do it. He literally says ... exclamation mark.
Ellipses for dramatic effect.
Have you ever just felt like, ... exclamation mark?
All the time.
All the time.
Well, hey, while you're flying around there, we have another $50 donation from Anonymous towards our bonus game. And proud of y'all, keep it up. Thank you very much, whoever you are.
Sometimes you can just predict it's not going to work. I could see there then the game started lagging. I was like, I know what's going to happen. Don't fall down. So there's our favorite friendly fish, Sidon. I know there's a lot of comparisons to Tears of the Kingdom, but if you play Tears of the Kingdom, there's a most wonderful statue of this scene in the game itself. Hope we're all learning Italian today. I mean, picking up on what some of these phrases mean. Varuta, that's one I know. Got that one.
Cappuccino.
I especially
Non ho
like...
pregiudizi.
If you pay attention, if you have a bomb out, and you wait to explode in at the bottom, it's got like the L button trigger to fire. In Italian, it just says bum. So I'm going to attempt to cycle this by just catching that one, and that one, and done. So again, there's one of those. There's probably is a way of getting all 4 in one cycle, but it's so awkward compared to just the much easier strategy of hitting 2 at a time. We just have another long bit of dialogue before we're allowed to go into the dungeon. Oh, Colosso, I got that one. I presume it means big.
Well, don't forget, with all of y'all making donations, don't forget to assign an incentive or a bid war. The option will be visible when filing in your donation, and it'll help to make the marathon the best it can be. If you want to see a list of all the incentives and bid wars we have for the entire marathon, you can use !incentives in the chat.
For this dungeon, the reason I say it's the most difficult is not because it's, particularly complex. Everything's all in one place. But A, it's time-based, which can be very awkward, because if you miss one of the timings, you just gotta stand and wait. And we have to do one particularly awkward BIL, where we have to do 3 in a row to get up to the trunk. And because some of them go over gaps, if you miss one gets messed up, you just fall all the way down. You have to start again. Where's my bow boat? Oh. Away with thee. There's one. The classic 1 terminal before I get the map strategy. Yeah, each Divine Beast has a gimmick of what part moves. So the camel has the barrels that move, which allows you to move to route where the electricity is going. Var Meadow allows you to tilt it, but we don't particularly need it. This one, we're allowed to move the trunk. And the trunk powers water wheels inside the Divine Beast. But there is also one of the terminals on the very tippy top of the trunk. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to climb the trunk and then lift it up and then follow it up. But obviously that seems slow to me, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some of these lovely BILs. Ooh, that went quite far. And try and just climb up this way. Not like that. That didn't seem like how I wanted to happen. Lol. Okay. Try that again. And this is what I meant by it's a particularly awkward one, because if that second one fails, You're coming all the way back down whether you want to or not. Nothing. Let me go. There we go. Thank you, game.
First try. There you go.
So there's a height for that one. I said there's probably a way around it, of, like using specific areas. Because last time it went wrong for me, I tried to like be smart and do other areas of the Divine Beast first, and it just didn't work out time-wise. I was better off just going all the way back down and trying again. I think this is the only divine. Yeah, it is the only Divine Beast that uses all of Link's powers as well. Because you need to use Cryonis to stop that. You need to use Stasis to stop the one of the other puzzles. You need to use Magnesis to turn those two wheels. And bombs are just, you know, generally useful. Ooh, that's in a very handy place. How is it still up there? I've never seen it that far up before. Now for everyone's least favourite terminal, because this one... Yeah. Will it let me activate it from here? No, it won't. I was like, it's either going to be really lucky where it is, or really unlucky, because you have to just stand and watch it go round. I just didn't take a fancy to him. Not fond. So now I can face off against the boss and rescue my girlfriend. Oh, I missed. That's depressing. Pretend you didn't see that one. It was first time. Very impressive, Jags.
I blinked. What happened?
Oh, sorry. I was checking my phone. I was going to break it in there. Yeah, I knew it. As it turns out, with ancient arrows and a really good bow, the bosses aren't particularly difficult.
Who'd have thunk?
I know, right? And then I unequip my bow very purposely because I'm about to go back to the Death Mountain, and I don't really want to burn my Great Eagle bow because I need it for the final boss.
Well, hey, in the meantime, we got a new donation here.
Yeah.
A $10 donation from Nebby. Trans rights or we bites. Thank you very much, Nebby.
So back we go to Death Mountain. And luckily enough, I don't have to do many more of these really awkward, laggy BILs. They either all work or none of them work. Never in between. Never like, oh, I only got one wrong. Either none of them work and it constantly goes wrong, or they all work and I don't have a problem. What a fun game to run sometimes.
I do question you sometimes.
It's definitely my best speed game as well, which is very much a driver for this, I feel. Oh, if you don't get that close, you can. I did it earlier in practice actually. If you don't get too close, you could kill them both before you trigger that first little like cowering cutscene. It doesn't really save much time, but it's satisfying to do.
Seconds are seconds in speedrunning.
Very true. And although I don't know what the time is right now, and I probably feel like I don't want to yet, you might be wondering, the get the Master Sword incentive I'm going to do is only 5 minutes. So the typical way you get the Master Sword is by getting 13 hearts. And I'm nowhere near 13 hearts. In fact, I haven't picked up any heart containers. And fairies don't help you with that, so I'm going to have to do a glitch. If you're curious, I'm probably about 15 minutes away from that point. So there was just a cheeky little bomb impact launch to get over into the cutscene trigger. You're not allowed to get any further. If you ever land on the ground, it triggers this. So when I'm doing this, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to sneak around and hide from the drones. But it turns out the drones are one-shot by ancient arrows. So what's actually going to happen now is I'm going to escort, and escort missions are the worst, and I don't know why anyone puts them in video games, but I'm going to escort Uniboro up by just shooting all these drones. Which is a bit cheap, but it means I need to use the Falcon Bow, because the Falcon Bow has the distance I need. Which means I need to do something called a burn cancel, where the bow will catch fire, but if I take it out and put it away, it just magically stops being on fire. And I can't sprint too much either, because unlike, everywhere else in the game, I can't actually use my whistle here, because it'll just stop you in a burrow, so you have to be really careful, because it's a really difficult habit to get out of. And I lost count of the number of times doing this. I've used the whistle to whistle sprint and realized I've accidentally stopped Uniboro from walking. So we'll do a nice gentle walk. Just constantly putting the bow away so that it doesn't catch fire. Also satisfies my need to press loads of buttons, because I'm just constantly like, take out, put away, take out, put away, take out, put away. I think this is the worst dungeon entry quest in the game. Varuta is short, but it just, the text takes ages. If you had to get the Lionel every time, it would be way longer and more annoying. But because you just buy shock arrows, it's not too bad. And I actually quite like the Aegis stuff. It's just this one is, do an escort quest. Excellent, great. I've never met a single person in my entire life who's like, escort quest? Yeah, that was my favourite part of the game.
Unless you like eco. Which I'm pretty sure the whole game was an escort quest.
Feels like this is an escort quest you could get pretty heated over.
Hey!
That was seely painful.
You should be both fired.
I literally am on fire, so checkmate.
Don't get too high-headed.
It doesn't really help, especially in Italian. French is pretty bad, but especially in Italian. Uniburo's voice actor, when you can just hear him huffing away in the background, makes me very uncomfortable. Just walk on your ears, heh, 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 behind you.
I mean, it's pretty hot.
I think he's just out of shape. I don't know if it's to do with the heat. He's literally made of rock.
He does have the same like body shape that I do, so I kind of feel him.
Are you also made of rock?
I wish it was that hard.
I refuse to comment. I can neither confirm nor deny I am made of rock. There is something you can do here to speed up called throw sprinting instead of whistle sprinting, but it's pretty pointless because, frankly, you're just gonna wait for Uniburo to catch up anyway. Snipe? Aw, what a player.
That was a shot.
I'm not gonna say anything about that because that's like the only good thing I've done this run. Oh, I missed that one. I like how his buddy disappears and he's like, new in there. I think it's like the classic video game logic of, is someone round here after 2 people have been killed?
Huh? Whose footprints are these?
There's a very excellent one of that at Viva La Dirt League, where, shout out to Viva La Dirt League, he's like, they make the joke about people around them dying and they're like, is someone round here? And he turns around, there's another dead body, he's like, is someone round here? Okay, so the final Divine Beast might be my favorite. Bomb I know is very satisfying to do quick, but this one has one of the coolest concepts where you have to go through the dark. So the first thing I'm going to do is obviously cheat it. So that weapon smuggling thing that I was doing right at the start, where I was smuggling the hammer into my hand to start smuggling the weapons when I was doing IST, I can use that to carry the torch and run with it at the same time, which means I don't have to like slowly walk the torch across. So the first thing I need to do is go in. I'm going to use bomb arrows and then very quickly unequip them because using bomb arrows can really mess you up because it turns out they just blow up in fire. I know, I got caught on then.
We got a new donation if now's a good time.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we have a $25 donation from Anonymous. Thank you very much to the Fox Color Bid War for red and white, which it's looking a little close there. Orange is at 56, black and red at 20, and red and white's at 26. Just saying, it wouldn't take too much to overtake orange. I know there's a bunch of Fox fans out there, and I know you're furries.
Wait, there are fairies in the chat?
What's one of them?
I think
Whoa!
there might be a fox in this furry chat.
Oh god.
Foxes are the worst, to be fair.
Yeah. You gotta be careful of that guy.
So the Divine Beast opens up a bit because I'm allowed to escape. There's a couple of different routes you can actually do here. It's very interesting to route this dungeon, because you can do some trick shots with the arrow. So what I'm going to do is smuggle the torch again, and then jump up here. Because the torch stays lit, and I'm allowed to fire arrows. Because it's smuggled, so I can just light the torch that way. Rather than what you'd have to do normally is, like, tilt the Divine Beast in a really specific way. Ah! Oh, I was in a really awkward spot there. I didn't know if I could actually get around it. And there's another neat little trick here. Once I've done that to free the thing, is you're supposed to fire an arrow to open this gate. Where's the metal crate gone? Beautiful. I'll check this a second. What I can do is just crawl through the gap. Oh, it's by there. Because Link's geometry just gets really weirdly messed up when it's... okay, fair enough. I just didn't mean to do that. Because Link's geometry gets really messed up when he's crawling, you would just crawl through that gap instead of having to line up an arrow perfectly. It's one of those, it's a really cool puzzle that we kind of just ruin by just, you know... Oh! Just crawling through like that. Honestly, the Italian Daruk has a lot of passion for it. Really sounds like a Goron, I think, you know?
I think he sounds fantastic. No bias.
None at all, I'm sure. Okay, so that's the final terminal. So there's a bit of a balancing act with this boss, where I need to be careful to not use... I want to use my Eagle Bow because I want to do a lot of damage to him quickly, but I can't leave it out for too long because obviously it's just going to catch fire and burn, and then that'll impact how much... Ready? Whee, okay. Plan B. So I want to basically take it out of midair, fire it as much as I need to, and then very quickly put it away again so that it doesn't burn. Because if you hit the durability too much, I'll just end up at a state where I won't be able to use it for the Ganon fight, which isn't too bad with the Master Sword, but becomes a real problem without it. That's what to do. Nice. Surprised I got away with him not moving there, actually. Okay, so what's actually really important here is I've finished all 4 dungeons now, so I'm going to go get the Master Sword and then face off against Ganon. I can never reload an area. I need to not move at all, because what can happen is it triggers the text. Because there's 2 cutscenes that play, because I've got the DLC installed. One for the Trial of the Master Sword and one for the Champion's Ballad. And they're about 45 seconds each, which is obviously a massive time loss I don't want to take. So what I'm going to have to do is make sure when I maneuver now, I stay like not having to reload at all, so I can't make mistakes. No pressure.
Ora staranno aspettando il momento della tua battaglia contro Ganon al castello di Hyrule. E poi anche io ti aspetto.
So we're going to head over to the Lost Woods. With my very excellent wiggling. I said
Well.
that
Sorry.
there's a lot of. Guess the other thing about doing Goron City last is it's so close to here to get the thing. I need to get some wood. I'll do. Here, another tree? Yeah. I got 2 just in case. Dare I say, it's better to have a backup bit for this. And now, the what you're supposed to do here is navigate through the woods and follow the flames. But what I'm going to do, hopefully, oh no, I'm not going to do it first time, is you can do a BIL to get enough speed to just get straight through the woods. You can do a BLSS as well, but I actually find it much more difficult. So I didn't get enough speed first time though. Must be slightly too far over because you actually need to catch the path that you're supposed to follow. So that's the Lost Woods puzzle out the way and done. So we're in the Korok Woods. That's the Master Sword. Now I need to get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this and then see if I can explain it afterwards. There we go. So, it's such a cheap trick. It's so cheap. So, when you camp by a fire, it reloads the area. What happened there is I reloaded the area, and when it reloads, some stuff loads in quite slowly. One thing that loads in very slowly is the cutscene trigger for the nice one. Is the cutscene that's supposed to stop you from being able to just pick up the Master Sword, right? Because it is just it's just in the world, right? So you're supposed to have a cutscene there that triggers when you're press A by it. Because I slept by there and the cutscene didn't have time to load in, instead I just picked up the Master Sword. So there's actually a speed run, which is, yeah, it's going to reset me, that's fine. There's a speed run, which is get the Master Sword. My PB is 22 minutes, because you just get off the Great Plateau and just go get the Master Sword straight away, just using that tactic. And it's genuinely easy enough that anybody in the chat watching now could learn to do it. Genuinely, it is that simple. You would not need a great deal of practice or anything. You just put a bit of wood next to it. Am I going to get caught again? No? Okay, cool. You just put a bit of wood next to it and pick it up. And we do have time for one last set of donations whilst we get over to the castle.
Well, if anyone wants to make some donations between now and the castle, do know that we are giving away lots of things for charity incentive. And if you donate $50 or more over the course of the entire marathon, you'll be entered in to win a Nintendo Switch OLED and Tears of the Kingdom. Also, there's a vote going on for the color of the fox for the next game coming up, and you should totally put some money in against orange.
Yes, it looks like I'm taking a really awkward path away from the Lost Woods to the castle. The method to my madness is that the field around the Lost Woods that voids you out is actually a lot wider than you'd think. And if you try and just go straight to the castle rather than like go around the Lost Woods, it can trigger when you're surprisingly far away from it. I've had it trigger like halfway towards the castle because the game is still thinking you're closer than you are, because obviously we're traveling so quick. Like if you watch the hero's path, the game thinks I'm teleporting. It has no idea that I'm actually just walking. So you have to be really careful to get as far away from the woods as possible, as quickly as possible, so you don't get caught out by that. Actually, it's not even loaded in. That's good. You know, I've never seen that before where the floor hasn't loaded in. That is a first for me.
We had a couple of firsts this run.
I know, right?
Be good to watch the VOD back.
Will it? There is actually there's a really specific setup that we used to use before the current route was developed for skipping the Ganon fight. But with Ancient Arrows, it's not strictly necessary because, I mean, honestly, this is embarrassing for him. Ow! It's not particularly complex with Ancient Arrows and the Master Sword. So we're about 3 minutes away from time now. We just gotta do this, and it's kind of auto-scrollery, to be honest. We just get the bow light and equip it, and then we just gotta basically wait for this guy to stop being mad. Now is a great time as any to say that thank you very much for having me once again for Fastest Fizz, and for letting me show off Breath of the Wild, which is one of my favorite speed games of all time, because it's ridiculous with the amount of glitches you can do. I hope you've enjoyed. Well, it's essentially a glitch showcase with some dungeons in between. Will you stop turning? Oh! Don't do that.
It's not part of the script.
I don't even want to say that's the first time that's ever happened to me, because I feel like I'm going to get bored of saying it. Where does this horse come from? That's my question. Whose horse is this?
This guy.
It's saddled and everything.
Because technically it's not Epona, is it?
No, not Epona at all. It's the wrong colour for Epona. Epona's light brown.
Light tan or something.
Yeah. So now we fire the last arrow straight at his eye, and that's time. And then I'm going to sit here and wait 6 years, and then I'm going to play Tears of the Kingdom.
Link, guarda la sua testa.
And
Link,
time. Seems particularly unthrilled by having his eye beaten, but you know, I can't say I would be either. If I need stretch. Turns out, waggling the control stick about for 2 hours can be a bit painful. What was my final time? Not bad. With getting the Master Sword as well. Yes, thank you very much. That's Breath of the Wild.
Hey, thank you very much, Jax, for the run.
Always a pleasure to see you
Ho
tomorrow.
osservato tutto questo tempo. Il tuo destino, la tua sofferenza.